welcome to episode 9 of my Facebook Live session series on my interpretation of the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Sven Covey. Well, as you know, this was a 9-episode series, and therefore, this particular episode is the concluding episode of the series. So, thank you very much, and my gratitude to all of you who joined me today and who have been supporting me through this series. So quickly starting with a background on me, my name is Rashie Sinha and I'm your business consultant, coach and trainer. I started my corporate journey 20 years ago and over the years have worked with multiple organizations where revenue generation was a key highlight of my KRA, and I have deep experience in launching new business verticals and products. As a business consultant and trainer, I work towards building growth for my clients and work with multiple mid-sized businesses and startups to help them define and structure new revenue generating streams or help them tweak their current business working to create fast-paced growth. So if you want to know more about me or connect with me, you could head to my LinkedIn profile. Now, starting with what we have covered and what we have covered till now and what we are going to talk about today. Well, we started with the introduction and then we dived into the habits with one habit per episode. Also, by end of each episode, there was and there will be a take action point or a task to do which needs to be worked on before the next episode. That's the format we followed till now. For those who are regular with the series, hope you did do the task of last week. So before we move ahead, here is another bit of share for all. Like I mentioned last week, I've created a group within this Facebook page for all those who are interested in creating a lasting impact in their life through these habits. So I am sharing the link to join the group in the chat in Facebook right away. I have done that in previous episodes also. The idea is that we can continue the conversation even after the series is over and work towards building better habits. It's not that everything would happen overnight. So we understand that very well. Hence, this particular offer is there where you can follow me or be part of me in this particular group. So here is the link of the group in the chat now. So you could go through that. And if you have any questions, you want to speak to me or discuss anything, clear your doubts, please feel free to write in the group. Now, let's look at what we have covered till now. So we are not going to do a recap in this episode because this is a conclusion episode. There would be elements that I would check or cover or talk about during the session today. So this is what we have covered. We started talking about the 7 habits, which are habit number 1 was be proactive, which means take responsibility for life and every action you do. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. We went through the entire process of how we can plan our today based on what we expect to get in future. So define your mission and goals in life starting now. Habit 3 was put first thing first, which was all about prioritize and do the most important thing first. So these 3 habits talk about the private victory section, which is your internal journey. The book started with the concept of inside out. So first 3 habits talk about building ourselves to be better human being. We discussed that somewhere, the best way to work in the society, or the way the structure of nature is of synergy and working together in an environment of interdependence. But over the years, with time, we have somewhere got conditioned, and we have become dependent on many things. We've become dependent people of our own thoughts, of our conditioning. Hence, the first three habits, which is the part of private victory, talk about winning over our own self first, which is being moving from being a dependent person to becoming an independent person, because it is explained through the series that it is only an interdependent person who can not only maximize his or her own potential, can also maximize the potential of the people they get associated with, or of a situation, and collectively work on what we understood as third dimension, or the third possibility. So this is the reason why it is important that we work in the arena of private victory, so that we move from dependency to interdependent state. After which we went on to discuss habit number 4, which was think win-win, where we should have an everyone can win attitude. So the idea over here again is that we as humans at times don't realize the importance of how we should care not just about our own winning, but also about taking others with us, because that is what we call is the long term solution in life. We can probably gain a lot of things if we concentrate on ourselves only. However, such solutions are short lived. Hence, habit 4 teaches us think win win. Then we come to habit number 5, which is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Basically, we have to learn to listen, reinvent the way we listen to people. For we have been conditioned in a manner that we end up listening to respond and not listen to understand. So let's seek first to understand, and after which we should ensure that the other person understands our point of view also. Again, flowing for habit number 4, this is not just about me or not just about the other person, it is working collectively. So that is why it is important to first understand the other person and then ensure that you are understood too. So we understood the entire process of doing that in habit number 5. Then we went on to habit 6, which is synergy, where we talk about how one can work together to achieve more. Now, habit number 4, 5, 6 were part of public victory, where now after working on habit 1, 2, 3, we have become an independent person. So using habit 4, 5, 6, we were moving towards being interdependent. And when we create this beautiful circle of amazing association, we need to ensure and the working of such an association continues. And that is when comes habit number 7, which is sharpen the saw, which is revisit. Because a lot of times it happens that you may start doing something, but then over a period of time, we may slip. So that is why it is important that we renew our thought process time and again, so that we stay on our path and continue to work better. So in the episodes, everything which we covered was based on certain principles. Now, these principles in some way are self-explanatory. So we started off with principles of personal vision, moved on to personal leadership and management. We understood that at times leadership and management are not understood well, One tends to think that management is leadership, which is incorrect. Leadership is deciding what you want to achieve, and management is the path you take to achieve those things. So if we put management before leadership, we will be lost. It is important to have that direction, that leadership within ourselves first. Only then we can chart the path which we are going to take to achieve the things we have set ourselves up for. These were the top three habits. Habit 1, 2, 3, private victory. Then we move to interpersonal leadership, empathic communication, and creative cooperation, which were the ways or the tools we can use to achieve habit number 4, 5, and 6. And then for habit number 7, we use the principles of balanced self renewal. So this is how all the habits look like. I have mentioned, I think, in all episodes, how amazed I am with the way this book is structured and how beautifully we flow from one habit to another. In the last episode, we spoke about sharpening the saw. So let's talk about my takeaway. So, my takeaway from that habit was to keep revisiting the book again and again to work on bettering myself. I have mentioned during the course of the series that it is absolutely fine if you don't grab everything in one go. Making definite steps, taking them one at a time, is a good start. And I say this out of experience. I'm myself yet to master all the habits, and I keep slipping, many times. However, I'm constantly at it. I keep working on myself and rereading the book, and each time something new strikes me. This exercise of doing these 9 episodes in front of you was again an attempt for me. I'm going to share today what prompted this. So, I am an avid reader, but somehow over the years or last few months, I had got so busy that I had stopped reading. So, that is when I tried my best to revisit the habit of reading, and I got reminded of this book. And I thought this was the best way to start. If I start sharing my learning of the book, I will get back to reading more. And thanks to everyone, thanks to all of you, and for your wonderful feedback, interaction over email, over various chats, for the amazing response I have received over the months, that today I am back to reading at least few pages every day. So that has been my achievement through the 9 episodes. I would love to know yours. You can write to me again, put it on chat if you want to keep that private, or please go ahead and share it as a comment in the comment section of this video, because that, you never know, can inspire somebody else to start taking that additional step, making that extra effort. So, what is today's episode all about? Well, it was about talking about these 7 habits. However, I will today share one section of the book that did change the course of me in the manner I handle relationships. Now, relationships, both personal and professional. This is something which we had discussed in habit number 1. When we spoke about being proactive, there was the understanding how to go about it, and we discussed something called stimulus and response. Now, there is the stimulus or act which has happened, and based on that is our response or reaction. Now, there is a gap between the two. The gap is choice. We have in ourselves the choice in the manner in which we would respond to the stimulus. So I will share with you few examples over here, and probably you'll be able to relate to it. uh, there are times in our life where we have faced not so happy situations. For example, in school, we all may have had a teacher who would have scolded us for no reason. I am sure we all felt bad about it. Now, the stimulus is a behavior received. What is the response at that moment and overall in life? Now, let's talk about overall in life. The stimulus of being spoken to or behaved in a not so nice manner can make us bitter, and one can do the similar kind of things to other, because we may build an understanding that this is the right way to behave in this world. For example, there are a lot of times kids learn behavior of you know towards a specific gender based on what they see at home. They may like it, not like it. However, because that is what they have seen, they tend to behave in a similar manner when they interact with the society. So it's again stimulus and response. We need to understand that no matter what the stimulus, we decide the response. So, how this habit changed me? Like I said, there can be bitter experiences in life. So, what I started doing, when I faced a situation, I did not forget the way I felt at that moment. I did not like what I was feeling. Hence, what I ensured is that no matter what the situation, at least knowingly, anybody I interact with should not feel the way I felt, which meant that if there was a bad behavior targeted at me, I will ensure that I should not pass on that bad behavior to somebody else. See, again, something which we learned in habit number one was circle of concern and circle of influence. A bad behavior that I received was in my circle of concern. I do not have a control over it because it is somebody else behaving in that manner from me. What I have in my control is the circle of influence. I have the choice of removing myself from that situation. At times that may not be possible. For example, if you are in school and this is a teacher who's talking to you, or you're being bullied by a fellow classmate, it is not possible to obviously move out of school. You may have to continue being in the school. So there is a different way of handling that situation, which is your circle of influence. However, instead of getting into that individual situation, I'm just taking this as an example. Overall in life, if you have been bullied, ensure that you never bully anybody in your life ever, because you have faced what being at the receiving end of bullying seems like. So choice of your behavior is in your circle of influence, and that is what is stimulus and response. When we respond, that response is in our circle of influence, and we decide how we work at it. And another thing which I keep saying is, again, in relationship, communicate and communicate and communicate more. Why do I say it? So, of course, I again come from another experience. Uh, there was a time I was working in Bombay, and I was staying by myself, and like everybody, there were issues at work, and there were things which I would not like. There was another friend of mine. He was also working in the same city. So when things would come to that level that you want to really take it out of your system by speaking with anybody, because there are certain things which, like I said, in your circle of concern, and you cannot do much about it, that is when we would meet and we would talk. And when we started talking, first it started with about complaining about everybody in the world. This is wrong, this person is not doing it right, this is what happened with me, those kind of communication. And he was also sharing similar kind of communication with me. With time, we realized that what we are doing by communicating like that is hurting ourselves more. So we started discussing what can we do to better our situation. See how the communication shifted from somebody else's behavior, which we have no control over, to our own behavior, what we can do to work better. Of course, by that time I had read the book, I had taken few leaves out of it, but like I said, nobody becomes perfect in one day. And that is when we started working at it. Again, for some reason, I had picked this book to read again during those days, and it struck me like a lightning that this is what I was missing and this is where I was going wrong. So I shared this bit of information with my friend, and he agreed with me. We continued to speak, and this communication went on for many meetings. And you know what? This changed our attitude. Instead of working and being upset by the end of the day and coming home and in a irritated mood, we both in our respective profession actually started looking forward to the next working day, looking up to and really working at the challenges we were facing at work. See, the entire response changed, and that changed the quality of our life, because we were not able to change the stimulus, it was still there. However, our attitude and behavior towards that changed. Now, another thing happened around that time is what this habit is all about. It is about being proactive. So now we were initially being reactive. So we started becoming proactive towards our work. And that is what changed a lot of things further for us. So now you understand, if you start taking small elements and start weaving them together, it starts working for you. So I just did this small change, which was ensuring that the gap between stimulus and response, I pause and wait for the right response, which I feel uh, should be the way I need to behave at that moment, and try and be proactive to ensure that a situation which is not of my liking doesn't happen at all. So this is the biggest takeaway I have had from this book uh, over the years. And you know what, by starting with this small thing, somewhere I was able to put in place the other habits in motion in small measures initially, then went on to do more about them. See, it's we all understand that change is the only constant. We are changing too, and we need to build that mindset of change within us. When we start working with that, things work out better for us. And whatever I have said, if you look at it closely, it is all inside out first. It's very easy to point fingers or put the blame on something external to us. That is why the habit 1, 2, 3 are talking about moving from being dependent to becoming independent. Because the day we stop blaming the situation, other people, the pandemic, etc., etc., for our miseries, that is the day we will become independent. So this is another reason why it was important that we discuss these habits during such times, because this habit, if you start working with them even today, you will start seeing the bright side of life very soon. And this pandemic has actually been at one point not very good even for me. There are a lot of things which went wrong, which went haywire. My plans went completely for toss. However, that made me stop, think, replan. Today I have a better plan and better goals in line for next year. So this is what we need to look at the positive side of things. Now, here is some quick, uh, you know, experience which I would share. Now, when people talk about having a positive attitude, interesting, till somebody told me, you know what, Rashi, being positive and having positive attitude is actually very irritating. How can I be positive all the time? The fact is, you can. The way is you should know how and why. Why positive attitude works is because it makes us move ahead faster. How to remain positive is something which I ended up working on and creating as a device. What had happened is, um, every other time I would get a compliment that, Rashi, it's good to see you. You have great energy. The moment you walk into the room, we feel very nice, and it's good to have you around. The kind of energy you have is great to have. And I would wonder, what am I doing that people are thinking that I'm so positive? So I started noting down things about myself. And that is when, after a while, I came to this conclusion. I realized positive attitude is an after effect, it is not the beginning. Positive attitude comes from the emotion you're feeling at that moment. So I started jotting down the emotions I was feeling, started asking my friends about what they were feeling when they were feeling positive. And at the end of it, I came up to a very interesting conclusion. And that conclusion was that there are only 4 habits. Sorry, not habits. I'm so used to saying habit right now. There are only 4 emotions. If we are feeling any one of that emotion, the after effect is positive attitude. So what are these emotions? These 4 emotions are: when you are feeling gratitude, when you feel gratitude towards a situation or towards somebody, your attitude would be positive. Second is when you are feeling happiness from within. When you are happy, you're smiling. Of course, something good has happened. So you're smiling and you are happy. Happiness is an emotion. The after effect of happiness is having a positive attitude. The third is when you feel love. So when you feel love, love is again an emotion. At this moment, if I am feeling love for a kid, then I would be also probably happy. And the after effect is that everything around me would seem bright. A lot of people say that, I had a very tough day. And when I came back home, I took my little child in my arm, and looking at him or her, my mood changed and I was as fresh as I can be. So that is the moment you're feeling love towards the child, and that is having that impact on you because your attitude towards everything is shifting to being positive. And the fourth emotion is when you feel peace. When you are peaceful, when you are satisfied about something, everything looks bright and you tend to have a positive attitude. So, if you want to remain positive at all points in life, at every moment, ensure that you are at least feeling one of these four emotions to continue to remain positive. If nothing else works, I talk about gratitude. There is something which is called positive affirmations, which is talk about good which has happened with you or good inside of you. And when you start doing that, you automatically will have gratitude, you will feel gratitude, and your attitude would be positive. And that, my friends, are a great way to start working on the habits, changing them one point at a time. I'm not even saying one habit at a time. I'm saying pick one point which resonates the maximum with you, possibly from the first three habits, because the habits work in a certain manner. So it is good to work inside outside, and that is what the book also recommends. After the seven habits, they recommend that you should work from inside to outside. That is what is the last chapter of the book, which says inside outside revisit. So keep working on yourself first and then on your environment, and try being the reason for change and brightness in the room for others as well. So, this is in short what the entire book talks about, and this is what the series is. Another important point is I will be back next Sunday with something very interesting for all of you, though not part of the series. However, there are certain more things I would love to share with you. Also, starting from the beginning and keeping this going for 9 episodes, speaking with all of you has kind of become an habit. So I will be back next week to discuss some other point, another topic. However, I would also like to share that on 3rd January, which is the first Sunday of the new year, I will be back with a summary episode of the the entire 9 episode series on the 7 habits, and give you a brief on all the habits. We will revisit them quickly, talk about the main points and takeaways of each habit, and do a refresher, ensuring that we start the new year with a new beginning and with a bang. So that is all from me this week. You can continue to write to me as I have always shared. Here are my contact details for all of you to write to me. It You could reach me at Rashie Rashie Sinha Sinha at gmail.com, or my official ID, which is Rashie Rashie at theyellowcardcompany.com. So I will be seeing you next week again. So there are no goodbyes from me. I will be back speaking to you on another topic. Watch the space on what the topic is going to be, and we will connect again. Till such time, keep working on yourself, keep having the victories, private and public, and always work on stimulus, response, and your circle of influence. The moment you decide before taking any decision whether this is in your circle of influence or not, you will do better for yourself and be a happy person and a more productive person. So thank you for watching me today and being a part of this session. I will see you again next Sunday with another topic. Till that time, goodbye. See you.